Good morning. I have had about an hour of sleep. I've actually had quite a bit of sleep over the weekend, so I'm kind of like well rested. So I figured I'm going to just get up instead of trying to sleep and then sleep till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Let me make some productivity today. So I decided to do a meditation this morning to take advantage of the fact that I was pretty much awake and not in a sleepy state, because sometimes I fall asleep. So I was able to get into my meditative state of mind. And I do self-hypnosis where I can work with my subconscious mind, like my inner child, if I need to do any of that stuff. And so I was in my meditation and trying to figure out what is it that's holding me back from certain things, holding me back from pulling the trigger on things that I want for my life. Why am I not succeeding at certain things? Why have I not progressed? And I had to really look at that, and I realized that there's fear. There was an underlying fear, and that fear was fear of failure, but also a fear of not being good enough, which kind of go hand in hand when you really look about it. If you're not good enough, then you're going to fail, right? If you're not good enough, you can't succeed. So I had to really think about, where did that fear of not being good enough come from? And I mean, look, I have childhood trauma, but that particular fear was not, it didn't come from the trauma I experienced. The fear of not being good enough actually was rooted from my mom. And my mom did the best she could. My mom did not come up in a supportive system of her own. So she, was doing the best she could as a single mother and everything like that. But she wanted me to, make her proud and get good grades and things like that. And I had a childhood friend who was a straight A student because her dad was the superintendent of New York City schools at the time. And so she had that pressure. She had to perform with those grades. And there was no exception, like you had to be high honor roll. And I think my mother was just so disappointed that I wasn't even on the honor roll. I was more like a B student. But there were so many other issues that were preventing me from like really focusing on my schoolwork. And believe me, like I really just didn't care. But over time, it eroded my self-confidence. And that was something that I really uncovered this morning. So I tell you, if you're a parent and you think that by telling them and comparing them to others is the way that it's going to motivate them, I'm telling you, that's the perfect way to set up to destroy their confidence and, pretty much guarantee the opposite of what you're trying to achieve. It's really counterproductive to even try and motivate a child by making them feel ashamed or making them feel less than compared to somebody else.